Welcome to the Latitude Global Volunteering UK and Ireland 2018 pre-departure briefing. We have three different kinds of placements in the UK and Ireland. We have community worker placements. These are more like full-time jobs where you're working in a organisation that's dedicated to helping people with special needs or people, underprivileged people, or people with addictions. We also have schools assistants, and that is for just under a year placements. And in these placements, you'll be doing a lot of work with young people, but also working with the staff, helping do a lot of administration stuff. Every school is very different, and the roles you'll be doing in that school change from school to school. The other placements we have are outdoor placements, working in scout camps or other kinds of camps, where you're working with young people who come in either on a school trip or for a 2-week holiday program, and you'll be looking after these kids and supervising them doing all these cool activities. What's happening next after the pre-departure briefing? Well, I would have already sent you out the development forms. I've sent you out the briefing packs. Very soon you will get medical recommendations letters if you haven't already got them. These are medical recommendations letters from our travel doctors, and there are a few little things that we advise you to do, but you don't have to do if you don't want to. Either way, you have to sign that form and get it back to us so that you're cleared fit for placement. And then finally, I've sent out the safety and security briefing, and there's a few things in there you have to do for me. Thank you. We've got three main departures for 2018. The first and the largest one is on the January the 2nd, and then we've got a February one and a March one. Okay, this is the United Kingdom, and also you can see there's the Republic of Ireland. So the United Kingdom is made up of 4 countries: Wales, England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And that's where you'll be placed. Some placements are in the Republic of Ireland as well. If you do go to the Republic of Ireland, and I do suggest you do because it's awesome, they will have a different currency there. So they'll be using euros, and you'll be going through international borders to get there. Okay, so you guys have already done, for the January departures, you've already done your visa applications, and for the February departures, I've just sent them out. The March departures, I'll send them out very soon to you. It's really important when you do get the visa application pack that you send it away as soon as possible. The visa application process has been slowed down this year, so it's really important that you get onto it as fast as possible. It's a 3-step process. The first step is to do an online application. The second step is to go and get a biometric reading done, and that's a fingerprint and a face, a photo of you. And then the third step is to send all your documents to a clearing box in Auckland, and then it'll be sent on to the UK for processing. While the usual time is 3 weeks for processing, it's taking about 6 weeks at the moment, so please make sure you do it soon. Before you do post off your application, triple check all the documents are correct. And if you have any questions, most welcome to ring us here at Latitude. The cost at the moment, it varies depending on currency fluctuations. Actually, it's just gone up, and so the cost of the visa is about $475, and the health levy is about $404. Once you get your visa back, please send me a copy of it and also the letter that came with it. You'll note the stamp on your visa says that you only have 2 or 3 weeks in the United Kingdom, but the letter will explain that you'll have to go to a local post office and pick out your BRP card. Your BRP card is basically your visa while you're in the United Kingdom, and every time you travel in or out of the United Kingdom, you have to have that BRP card with you, so don't lose it. It's really important. Your mentor at your placement will know where to take you to get that. There are quite a few regulations around the visa, so make sure that you do enter the information correctly. So what happens is the school placements, you'll get a visa for about 12 months. The outdoor placements, you'll get a visa with about 14 to 28 days after that, but you are most welcome to enter the United Kingdom after your visa has expired. You can re-enter it on a tourist visa, but it is very important if you are re-entering on a tourist visa that you don't say you're going to return to your placement, because they won't let you back in if you do that. Most of you have done the DBS form. Thank you very much. It's basically the equivalent of a New Zealand police check, police vet. And so we send them off to the United Kingdom. Even if you haven't been to the United Kingdom before, all your placements require you to be cleared by the UK police. If you haven't filled this one out yet, make sure that you use a black pen. Make sure you write inside the boxes. Don't use correction tape. And if you do make a mistake, just put a cross through it and write the correct answer in the next box along. If you are going to Ireland, and good on you, because Ireland's awesome, as I said, there's a different process to getting a visa for Ireland. Once you land in Ireland, you land on a tourist visa, and then you will sign up, go to the local Garda, which is the police station, and then you'll sign up and get a proper visa there. It's quite expensive. It's about $400 for that visa. It's important when you land in London to go to orientation. Make sure that you land and enter on a tourist visa. And if they ask you what you're doing, explaining that you're onwards travelling to Ireland, we would have already given you your Ireland air ticket to prove that, and that you're only in the UK for a few days. A few days before your flight, I'll give you a phone call just to make sure you're okay. I will before that send you a suggested packing list. So a few days before your flight, pack your gear, make sure you weigh it, make sure you're within the luggage regulations. Put aside the clothes that you plan to wear on the flight. I suggest you don't wear sandals and shorts, because once you land in London, it's going to be really cold. And sometimes the planes can get really cold too. So make sure you dress appropriately to go comfortably, but also tidily. Also, with your carry-on luggage, make sure you pack a warm top, a pen, a change of clothes, and a power packer USB cord. I really want you to make sure your phone is still charged, so that when you land in the United Kingdom, if for some reason you can't get through customs easily, you can communicate with our staff via Facebook or email. And I'll send you more instructions about that. Do pack a change of clothes in your carry-on bag. The reason for that is just in case your bags don't turn up with you when you land at Heathrow, at least you've got a change of clothes for a couple of days until your bags do show up. Okay, I will. There'll be several staff meeting you at the airport. Lisa will be seeing off the volunteers who are departing from Christchurch, and Sharon and I will be seeing off the volunteers departing from Auckland. If you are catching a domestic flight to either Auckland or Christchurch, make sure that you have checked in at the domestic terminal 90 minutes before your flight, so that you can get your bags checked all the way through to Heathrow. Parents, we recommend you say goodbye at the domestic terminal rather than flying up with them to Auckland, because by that stage they're in travel mode and ready to move on with the next exciting stage of their lives. Do buy a Latitude t-shirt and wear it. I've already sent you guys a link on Facebook to that, so it's really easy for me if you're wearing them. We have 2 flights, as I said, in January, one from Auckland and one from Christchurch. You'll meet in Singapore. The flights in February and March are going slightly different route. You'll be going via Dubai. Make sure that when you are on these flights that you are considerate of other passengers. Make sure you do exercise, have plenty of fluids, and get up and walk around every now and again. You'll have a stopover. Once you land at your stopover, make sure you find that the gate that your next flight is departing from. Once you know where you have to be and what time you have to be there, then you can go and check out the airport and buy some food and stuff like that. Just remember, food is expensive at airports, so the more food you can eat on the plane, the better it is. If you are in Singapore, they do have a really good deal at the Singapore Airport Hotel. There's a swimming pool there as well, which is pretty cool. In the United Kingdom, you'll be met by a Latitude staff member, and then you'll meet Helen Dickin at the Generator Backpackers. She's the one that's running the orientation, and she's the country manager. Helen's really awesome. She'll look after you, and she will also rely on other staff to look after you as well. She'll be leading orientation. You're very lucky next year that you've got Anna Bergen, who will be the program coordinator in the UK for the first half of the year, and she'll be the one that's doing the most coordinating with you, checking up on you. The thing you're lucky about with her is she's a Kiwi, and so she understands you. She's an awesome person, and she'll do a good job of looking after you. Orientation is a lot of fun. It's at the Generator Backpackers and it's right near King's Cross Station. So it's right in central London. Orientation goes to 3 days and there's great opportunities to do a bit of sightseeing around London. Plus, you get a bank account set up for you, SIM cards, and you get to meet your fellow volunteers, not just the Kiwis, but the volunteers from Canada, from South America, from Australia, all sorts of places. So that'll be really cool. Once you've finished orientation, if your placement is close to London, you will be picked up by your hosts. But if you're a little bit further afield, you'll either catch a train or if you're in Scotland or an island, you may fly there. Latitude staff will take you to the station and point you to the right direction. So jump on the train. Make sure that when you are on the train that you don't fall asleep and you don't miss your stop. You will be picked up by your mentor at the other end. And don't worry about not finding them, they'll find you. Once you arrive at your placement, the first few days are going to be pretty confusing and a little bit overwhelming. So make sure you get plenty of rest. The first few days, all you really should be concentrating on is learning names, finding out what your role and your responsibilities are in your timetable. Make sure you will know what is expected of you in terms of behavior and what sort of clothing you have to wear as well. Don't be afraid to ask questions because your mentors and your hosts will be there to answer them. Your staff mentor is a person who you'll have the most contact with, and this person will probably contact you before you leave home. These people have usually worked with volunteers for a long time, so they understand your needs and the confusion that you're under, so they'll be very patient with you. And if you have any questions, please do ask the staff mentor. They'll look after you really well. Here's some tips for for being at your placement. Show initiative at all times. Be cheerful and positive. Even if you're feeling a little bit down, put a smile on your face. It's amazing how you can fake it until you make it. Be flexible and a team player. So your jobs may change from time to time. Be prepared for that and jump at it and grab the bull by the horns. Be prepared to take on any extra duties. The more the school or your placement trusts you, the more opportunities you'll have to do really cool stuff. Be realistic. It's not all going to be fun. There are going to be some times where you actually don't want to be there, when it's raining and miserable and horrible, when your friends back in New Zealand are posting photos from the beach. It is going to be tough, but that is part of the learning and the challenging environment. But most of the time will be fun. So just make sure that you can see the bigger picture and the amount of development you're doing while you're there. Communicate your needs and feelings clearly and positively if you have a problem. Okay, so just don't forget to get your BRP card within the time frame, and once you do get an email, a copy to Helen, and she will put it on her record. Okay, just remember that you are no longer a student. You will be expected to behave like a member of the staff. So at all times, you've got to be professional. You've got to keep a professional distance between you and the people that you're looking after. And remember, if you are in a situation where you are supervising people, it's better to go in with a stronger, stricter discipline and then ease off later on, because you can't start all chummy and then realize later on that you have to be their friend, that you have to be their boss, and that won't work like that. Here's a video that I'd really recommend that you watch. It'll be on the YouTube clip at the end. Accommodation in all your placements will vary. At the camps, you may be sharing a room with other people or 2 or 3 other people, and you might have a communal kitchen where you cook together. At the schools, generally you'll have your own room, whether it's inside the school or outside the school will depend on the school. And make sure you do look after your accommodation, and make sure you are empathetic towards the people sleeping close to you by not disturbing them and keeping their areas tidy and things like that. Make sure you're very This video again will be on the link at the bottom, at the side. Food varies from place to place and from day to day. Sometimes the food's great, sometimes it's pretty average. So make sure that you do eat it though, because it's being provided for you free of charge. It's much better to eat their food than go and have to spend money and buy your own food. So definitely do take advantage of it. If you are having problems and you have special dietary requirements, be proactive and positive with the kitchen staff. Go up to them and say, hey, look, I've just got this little thing that I need help with. Can you please help me with it? Rather than being negative and then they won't like you. Always be very kind to and friendly to the kitchen staff. They'll give you extra stuff if you do. Holidays are a really important time for all the volunteers. For the schools placements, you'll have 2 months off in the middle. You also have a midterm break sort of around April, and you'll have another couple of breaks later on as well. For the community and outdoor placements, generally what you'll do is you'll have a couple of months a holiday at the end before you return to New Zealand. We do recommend you take advantage of that and travel as much as you can. You're in the doorstep of Europe with some amazing history and amazing things to see and do. So do travel as much as you can while you're there. There are benefits to the schools placements and that you're traveling in the best time of the year in terms of weather, but with the outdoor placements you'll be traveling when it's not peak season, so things will be cheaper and there will be less people around. So both all three types of placements have benefits to them. Remember that you are ambassador for New Zealand while you're traveling, so make sure you act responsibly at all times. Back up your photos and research your destinations before you arrive there to save money. Do go to the tourist sites early in the day. There'll be less of a queue and you won't be so hot and bothered. To save money, we recommend you can go and buy bread and cheese. It's a good cheap meal. Buy it from the supermarket rather than from a delicatessen. Probably only costs you €1 or €2. And be safe and don't get drunk. Well, particularly don't get drunk with people you don't know and you don't trust, and in an environment that you're not familiar with. Once you finish your holidays can be one of the hardest times in your placement. You felt like you've done your placement, you've just had an epic time traveling around, and then you have to go back to your placement. And so be aware that you are going to suffer a little bit of post-holiday blues there, and we really do encourage you to sort of battle through that, and because you have committed to doing it for the entire length of the placement. So please do your best. You may also have new volunteers with you to be an example too. Okay, UK life is in many ways different to New Zealand life. It's often more formal. People dress up a little bit more formally. They have probably more display better manners than we do in New Zealand, and sometimes you'll meet people with titles who prefer to be called Mr. and Mrs. or Sir or Madam. The UK is definitely busier than New Zealand. There's 60 million people living there, and so they've developed a really good system of queuing, so make sure you don't jump the queue, and there's a lot of etiquette around public transport, so make sure you copy what and mirror what other people are doing. But we do recommend that you experience the differences and really embrace them. Go to a football match. The English people are great football supporters, so please do go to that and enjoy it. Even if it's a Division 3 game, it'll still be a lot of fun. Enjoy the differences. In London particularly, London is the most multicultural city in the world. There are ethnic groups from almost every ethnicity and culture in the world there, so please enjoy that difference. And that's that. Thanks very much. If you've got any questions, you're most welcome to email Latitude staff or send us a Facebook message or give us a call. Thanks. Bye.